This is Matthew Kratter's Bitcoin University. Today I want to talk about how Bitcoin just keeps winning and winning and winning. And this video is made in response to a question I got, an email I got from someone who said, my friends just don't get it. They still think that Bitcoin is only for weirdos. They're constantly making jokes about me and my quote unquote dumb obsession. What should I say to convince them? I'm really tempted to say to this person who emailed me, find yourself some better friends, but I don't want to break up any friendships. I'll just leave you with this. There are a lot of billionaires who like Bitcoin. For example, Michael Dell and Larry Fink like Bitcoin. Michael Saylor likes Bitcoin and calls it a capital investment that you can hold for decades that a corporation, competitor, counterparty, or country can't take away from you. It will create generational wealth for your family, corporation, or country. And this is definitely someone you should be listening to. Hedge funds like Bitcoin and the Bitcoin spot ETF. We can see here D.E. Shaw. We can see Point72. We can see Paul Tudor Jones, Tudor Investment Corp. We can see a whole list of hedge funds that are extremely bullish on the new spot Bitcoin ETFs. And now we have Morgan Stanley approving both the BlackRock spot Bitcoin ETF and the Fidelity spot Bitcoin ETF for their platform. And what this means is that as of August 7th, these financial advisors who work for Morgan Stanley will be able to pitch the Bitcoin spot ETF. We can see it's something like 15,000 or more financial advisors who will be pitching this. And this data this new flow has not even been captured by the latest 13F filing from Morgan Stanley, in which they reported owning 5.5 million shares of the Bitcoin spot ETF from BlackRock, the iShares, and that was valued in June 30th at about $187 million. So that's even before these advisors go to work and convince people to add a little Bitcoin spot ETF to their portfolios. It looks like UBS, there are rumors that UBS will follow Morgan Stanley and approve the recommendation of Bitcoin spot ETFs, as will Wells Fargo, according to AP Abacus here. Now, Goldman Sachs itself already owns about $400 million worth of spot Bitcoin ETFs. This is probably for high net worth wealth management clients. We can see here they own it across the BlackRock product, Fidelity, Grayscale, Invesco, etc. Next, I wanted to draw your attention to the First State Pension Fund to buy Bitcoin and the fact that they have already increased their stake in the iShares spot Bitcoin ETF. They're currently owning about 2.9 million shares of the IBIT as of June 30th. And it looks like they got out of their GBTC position and they added IBIT instead with its much lower management fee. And then we have another state pension fund that has added Bitcoin in the form of spot Bitcoin ETFs to its portfolio. This is the state of Michigan retirement system that reports owning about $7 million of the ARK Bitcoin ETF. Even some central banks now own Bitcoin indirectly through MicroStrategy. As we can see here, the Norwegian Central Bank currently owns 1.1 million shares of MicroStrategy, which owns a lot of Bitcoin, and the Swiss Central Bank owns 466,000 shares of MicroStrategy. So these are examples of central banks that have indirect ownership of Bitcoin itself. If you're finding this video helpful so far, I just ask you to help to support the channel. Click the subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment, question, suggestion for a future video, and share this video with a friend or family member. In Bitcoin mining news, Vladimir Putin just signed a law that legalizes cryptocurrency mining in Russia. And since Ethereum moved from proof of work to proof of stake, there's really only one cryptocurrency mining game in town, and that is, of course, Bitcoin. Putin's not going to be mining Kaspa. He's not going to be mining Dogecoin or anything like this. This is clearly set up for at least the privileged people in Russia to begin to be able to mine Bitcoin. You should also tell your skeptical friends, that Bitcoin is now how it ranks among the top assets in the world. So we have gold here at the top. We have a bunch of tech stocks. We have silver. And then number 10 ranking is Bitcoin at a $1.1 trillion market cap. So this really is an asset that if you're not paying attention to it, you really should be. It has a larger market cap than Berkshire Hathaway, and it's moving its way up the ranks and will eventually be number one because gold is not going to be very difficult to overthrow. And then Bitcoin will go on to overthrow fixed income bonds, real estate, etc., and ultimately all currencies. Here was someone who was sounding a little bit discouraged. Cavi John wrote, more waves that never materialized in the price. Lol. The price actually went down after the much vaunted halving and went down again after much vaunted ETFs. Anyone else since BTC has been captured. And what I did is I provided a snapshot of historical Bitcoin prices for yesterday. Someone else had actually put this in a different comment and I copy pasted it. We can see as of yesterday, Bitcoin was trading at 61,000 the year before, 29,000 the year before, 24,000, 47,000, etc. So if you zoom out and you be patient, you can see the progress that Bitcoin is making, albeit in a very volatile manner. Yoga with Andy asked, can someone please explain to me how almost 1 million Bitcoin has come into the Bitcoin ETFs, but the price is at best going nowhere? My response, because your numbers are wrong. Even before spot Bitcoin ETFs, GBTC, which was this trust, was holding over 600,000 Bitcoin. Much of that Bitcoin has moved from GBTC, as we saw with the Wisconsin state pension, has moved from GBTC to the other new spot ETFs, which have much lower management fees. Also, spot ETF is not the only game in town. Lots of demand and supply coming from other actors as well. We can see here GBTC's holdings for many, many years was above 600,000 Bitcoin in that trust and has now fallen off. And much of that has found its way into the other spot Bitcoin ETFs. We can see IBIT at the top here with 348,000 Bitcoin. GBTC still has 232,000, followed by Fidelity, ARK, Bitwise, etc. And if we scroll all the way down here, this includes, I believe, some international Bitcoin spot ETFs as well. We end up with about 1 million Bitcoin held in these ETFs. But again, we started with 600,000 being held in essentially an ETF. And so much of this has just migrated. And as we can see from all the wealth advisors, the wealth management people, and the financial advisors just beginning to be given permission to sell these ETFs and to recommend them, that we're really at the beginning of this game. If you didn't catch my video yesterday about corporate Bitcoin adoption and the wave that's coming, I encourage you to watch that, and it will help you understand why historically U.S. companies haven't been able to hold securities more than 40% of their total assets, but how Bitcoin is going to change that, and they'll be able to hold BTC itself as a replacement for the government bonds and US dollar cash that they're holding on their balance sheet. So I encourage you to check that out if you haven't seen it yet. The thing is, when you own Bitcoin, everything around you keeps getting cheaper and life keeps getting better. So obviously the price of a US median house has gone up a lot in US dollar terms since 2016. It was priced, the average house was about $288,000. Then it's now about $434,000, but it priced in Bitcoin, it used to cost you 664 Bitcoin to buy the median house. Today, it only costs you 6 Bitcoin. So this is the difference between saving in US dollars, which is a melting ice cube, and saving in Bitcoin. Now, if this data that I've presented in this video doesn't convince your friends, I really don't know what to tell them. They need to do some fundamental research. But if they're not interested in Bitcoin, they're very unlikely to do that. As the saying goes, everyone gets Bitcoin at the price that they deserve. And I would say don't be surprised if your friends remain stubborn and then turn on you and begin to resent your success when Bitcoin hits 100K and beyond. You might want to get yourself other friends before that. Buy Bitcoin at 3,000? Nah. Buy Bitcoin at 19,000? Nah. Buy Bitcoin at 60,000? Nah. Bitcoin hits 100,000. You just got lucky, and there's envy and resentment all around the table. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the subscribe and like buttons. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when I publish my next video. And let me know your questions and comments in the comment section below. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.